Welcome to the Media Bubble Podcast. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about a movie that released somewhat recently. We're a little bit late on talking about this, but we're going to talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie.
And I'm Karol.
Yeah, we have switched our intro a bit. Maybe we made it a bit short, but that's for later planning, I guess.
I think it might be a tad too short, but, well, in with the new and out with the old. Mario movie is on the table today.
Yeah, and it's a movie that, we kind of felt like we had to talk about it in some way. It would be exciting for us to talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah?
I guess we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, so I think we should just mention that, or a healthy attitude with this movie would be just to keep your expectations low. This is not gonna be a Pixar movie. It's gonna be a fun romp, but it's nothing deep.
Yeah, one thing that we might as well also mention that growing up, I was an avid Nintendo player and Mario player. I guess Karol was not, but you're still very aware of the franchise.
I think it's because I know you for such a long time. It's like osmosis. Because you play almost like all of the major games, right?
Currently, I think I have played all the most popular Mario games.
Yeah.
I have at least played all the 3D titles.
And it was around that time when I used to hang around your house a lot. So
yeah, we played a Mario Kart a lot.
Yeah, and Mario Galaxy. But I think this movie is good enough on its own where if you don't like, it helps a lot if you know all the references. Duh, it's the Mario movie. But even if you bring a kid, it's still just a spectacle.
It's a very interesting movie. It's one thing that I can give the movie is that it's very... It has a lot of things to look at. Like the background are full packed with the things all the time. That's just moving around and colors and references and things like that. So that are kind of fun.
But I think we are getting ahead of ourselves. Since I think what surprised me the most is just the backstory, like how they introduced the Mario brothers, Luigi and Mario.
Well, when we heard that they were going to make a Super Mario Brothers movie, I did expect that they would remove that history of them coming from real life New York. Like I thought that they were just going to make them having grown up in the Mushroom Kingdom, but apparently not.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the franchise was heading in the past, like, few years. We had the news that Mario is not a plumber anymore, but this movie seems to backtrack on that information.
Yeah, a lot of things that it felt like the franchise have done since the original Mario game is the kind of remove that human world element from the Mario Brothers, but in this movie it's really present.
Yeah, because I felt like, at least in Odyssey, Mario didn't really feel like a human. He was just a video game character.
Oh yeah, because everyone else there was like real
just like normal humans, normal men in trench coats.
Do you remember there was a reference in this movie that the mayor of New York was Pauline?
Yeah, it was very sweet. I mean, just as I think I even said when we watched the movie, how it really reminded me of those early cartoons where it wasn't that uncommon for Mario and the gang just to be in New York City. Like, I think it was on the VHS tapes where there was one of the episodes where Princess Peach was an avid fan of Milli Vanilli, and they had a whole episode them just going to a concert in the human world.
I used to have an VHS tape of the original Mario show where they went I think it was some kind of spoof of Merlin and the Arthurian legend, if I remember correctly. I can't really remember the whole episode that well, but yeah, something like that.
But it still feels nice that they kind of went back to the roots.
Like I love that they actually used the cartoon intro in this movie and the way that they used it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, do we want to go in all the details? Maybe let's share what we caught. So, for example, when we had the Mario Brothers commercial, they were using the capes, which I think was a really cute idea.
Like the thing with this movie is that there's so many references that I'm not even really sure what to bring up. Like one little cool detail that I actually noticed in the beginning of the film after the Mario Brothers had watched the commercial is that you can see an arcade machine and its title is Jumpman, which was Mario's original name.
I think another nice catch, which is just like a blink and you miss it. It was Cappy's shop when we are introduced to the Mushroom Kingdom. The chip. What was the shop from the Odyssey called? The hat shop.
I don't remember actually.
But it was that store which you can just find as you enter the kingdom, which I also thought it was nice. And also James Clarinet plays Mario's dad.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, we get to meet more of the Mario family.
Which I think, I mean, I did not expect that. I thought like, yeah, they would have a mother and a father, but they wouldn't have like a full Italian family, which I think like, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a neat detail.
Yeah, also Mario plays on an NES, which I feel raises a lot of questions.
Imagine he would be playing on a non-Nintendo product, just like a nondescript console.
I probably didn't expect him to play video games in this movie at all, to be honest, but I don't know, I guess it's a fun little detail. If I'm being honest, Karol, I don't know if we can go through all the references in this movie, because there's just too many, I feel like.
I think if we'd really want to, we'd have to see the movie at least 2 more times and made a specific list.
Yeah, and probably even after that we haven't caught everything, probably.
Yeah, so maybe let's just talk about those we remember, that we thought were fun. If we remember them.
But okay, we have mentioned a bit of the story, but let's go a bit more through it, I feel like. The actual beginning of the film isn't what we have talked about yet. In the beginning of the film there's an ice kingdom with a lot of cute penguins. And in this first scene, Bowser comes and attacks, and I guess it's a kind of well-known scene. I think this is the first thing that was ever shown of the Mario film when I think about it.
Yeah, it was like the centerpiece of the trailer.
Yeah, Bowser comes in, he is very powerful, he has a fire bet that is not according to anything I have seen in the games, but anyway.
And there was, har har, nobody's gonna stop me! Cue to the Mario Brothers.
Yeah, a kind of the first time when you meet Bowser, he kind of feels like a more threatening villain. So I was kind of wondering if they were going to keep that, because it still is a Mario movie, and I know recently that they have made Bowser into a more fun character. So it was a bit intriguing if they were going to keep that or not.
I think it was a good direction, since, like, I like Bowser. I've mentioned this multiple times on the podcast, but I think we often forget, like, as you said, they made him into a fun character. They made him like a good father. He joins the gang on Mario Kart. He is in Mario Party.
Yeah, like if you have ever played a Mario and Luigi game, Bowser is like a full comedic character in those games.
Yeah, and I think that's how I like him the best. Although when he's threatening, like when Princess Peach mentioned later on in the movie, like he's a full-on psychopath, Jack Black's performance really sells it.
Yeah, Let's talk more about Bowser later, actually. I feel like there's some other stuff we can go through first.
Yeah, Bowser is coming, but not yet.
Okay, so to the real world.
The Mario Brothers have just started their own plumbing service and have run a wonderful ad that everybody is making jokes about. There's also Spike, their former boss, who doesn't really think that it's gonna go off. But the bros get a job and mess it up royally as they're being chased by a dog and they ruin a whole fancy bougie apartment.
Yeah, what was up with that dog?
I have no idea. Like
it was really mean.
It was just, I mean, kids movie.
Yeah.
Expectations.
I found it a bit weird on how much time they actually spent on that dog, but okay. Okay, so because they failed on the first job, Mario and Luigi kind of feels a bit bad, and then there's some kind of big leak in the middle of Queens, was it?
Yes. So as Luigi and Mario, mostly Mario, are being like feeling really down and saying that there was just like a bit about his like Mario's father blaming him for dragging Luigi into bad ideas. And here's another bad idea. There's a giant leak in Queens, and nobody can like take care of it. So the Mario Bros with power of sweet parkour go to the Queens and try to solve the problem.
I think we're mixing up a bit of the scenes here, but yeah, there was a parkour scene.
I think I'm mixing the two previous jobs. But as they go to Queens to solve the problem, they end up being sucked into a sewer system and find their way into a overly oversized green pipe, which we are very familiar with.
Yeah, so they stumble into this green magical pipe that takes them into the Mushroom Kingdom, but in their way of traveling, the Mario brothers get separated. Luigi gets out in a different pipe, and Mario comes out through another pipe.
Yeah, Luigi gets the bad end of the stick. He is thrown into spooky, scary, skeletal woods type of situation, Bowser's Kingdom.
I think it was called Darkland or something like that.
I think it was. I can't believe you remember that.
They don't spend a lot of time in there. I think that's supposed to be where Bowser's from, but we actually never see Bowser in that place.
No, we don't. We meet a lot of skeletal Koopas and like Shy Guys.
Yeah, dry bones, and they have a full kind of like a kid's horror scene, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, this movie doesn't meander. It has places to go. It has places to be. And it's just like, go, go, go. This is Luigi's mansion. You get it? Let's go. Now he's getting caught.
I heard that one of the directors was really into watching speed runs, and he kind of tried to implement some elements of that into this movie.
If it was any other movie, I'd be a little bit sad. But seeing how big speedrunning scene there is for Mario games, it kind of fits.
Yeah, I feel like that is the wrong reason to go into a movie, though. Like if I'm being honest, this movie moves really quickly. It kind of needs to, because there's a lot of things to do in this film, and there's a running time I guess the studio have to fit. So there's a lot of things. So the movie moves really, really quickly.
Because I could fully imagine if it was if it wasn't Nintendo, but let's assume that Nintendo didn't have like steel rain on this movie. I could easily see it being split into like two parts, if they slowed it down a little bit, or maybe it being 3 hours instead.
Yeah, I kind of felt like in some ways it would have been nicer for this movie to have been a little slower when they travel around the Mushroom Kingdom a bit, but it didn't ruin anything that much either.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice, but the movie is already pretty long, and I mean
I don't know. Is it that long?
It's 2 hours,
into
right?
into no, it's 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, now I kind of wish there were more scenes where or slowing down action.
Well, I guess that's kind of the standard for animated films nowadays. Like animated films in like the I think 80s and 70s, they were usually 1 hour and 10 minutes. Little fact there. So while Luigi is being kidnapped by some shy guys, Mario gets out on the other in one of the other pipes and comes to a mushroom land.
Yeah, and a little nice fact: Mario really hates mushrooms in this movie.
Yeah, he doesn't like eating mushrooms. Like I have never really thought of this into this extent, but the fact that Mario eats mushroom to get powered up is a really it's a really bit of strange thing now when you think about it.
I mean, if you wanted to really make a metaphor out of this, it could be like him overcoming this weakness of his to gain strength to be a hero.
By the power of
Exactly.
mushrooms. Yeah, so Mario arrives into the Mushroom Kingdom and he meets one specific toad. I think he's just called Toad.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Toad is a species
and a name.
Yeah, I guess so.
But well, Toad, he's here. I think who played him? I really odd
Keegan-Michael. Let's see. Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah, I think he made a like he was. I think it applies to almost everyone in this movie. But his performance was delightful. Like a lot of the times, Toad can be grating since it's just like haha, and yeah, it was actually pleasant listening to him.
He was probably the one of the better voices of this film. The Toad's voice is also one of the few that feels like the actor actually made a voice for him. Like if we're going to be honest, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Donkey Kong, their voices are just the actors' voices. The actors doesn't really change anything in their voice for those roles.
I mean, there is a slight twinge in Mario's voice, which was I don't think present in the trailers. I think they kind of japed us with how bad Chris Pratt's performance will be. And I think also who plays Luigi?
Let's see, Charlie Day.
Yeah, I think he puts on a voice when he is acting as Luigi. I wouldn't say that's his natural voice.
I think it is his natural voice. Have you heard him speak other times?
I don't think I did. If so, nice typecasting.
Yeah, but anyway, Mario comes into or visits the Mushroom Kingdom for the first time, and if I had a kind of expectation of how I wanted the Mushroom Kingdom to look before this film, then it probably exceeded my expectation, because the Mushroom Kingdom, just looking around it, it's amazing. It's full of details, full of toads, full of fun things.
And it's not boring. Seeing how I mean, for me, Mushroom Kingdom, I expected to just be a flat, normal, regular, old generic mushroom village we've seen so many times.
Yeah, with some kind of toad houses, maybe.
Yeah, like in Mario and Luigi games or the RPG, but they made it interesting and it feels kind of fresh.
Yeah, it feels full of life.
Yeah, like exactly. It feels busy. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I think it also is a little bit of a how do you say it? It kind of shows how people making this movie understood their assignment, because there were a lot of things.
There was a lot of small reference, a bit of everywhere. That I didn't expect the animation team to go so in depth with all these little references.
Yeah, and they didn't stand out. It felt that the movie didn't overstay the references because it could just equally be a movie about references, but it wasn't.
But yeah, I guess after they walk around a bit in the village and after Mario has some problems with going through the pipes, they arrived at Princess Peach's castle.
Yes, and they have trouble getting in since, well, she's a princess and they don't just let randoms into the castle. But they jape the guards. Mario slinks in. There's just like a small sequence, and he bursts into. No, I don't think it was burst onto the meeting. I think it was outside the door to the meeting as Peach is leaving the war council, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So Peach, in the meantime, as Mario is breaking in, has a war council since she knows that now that Bowser has a superstar, their kingdom could be next. So her plan is to go to the tropical kingdom, the Kong country, to gather their army and together make an attempt on the Koopa horde.
One thing I thought about a little thing about this movie in Aftermath is they almost kind of know what the audience are looking for, because it always feel like they're hyping up a little bit when every character is supposed to come on screen. I felt like that when in the beginning scene with Bowser, I felt a little bit of that with Peach and with Donkey Kong later on. It's like they know
they hype it up.
Yeah, they kind of anticipate what we're going to meet this character now.
But I think we're going back to this movie is like I think maybe the similar experience would be like a Marvel movie where like we point and look, holy shit, that's the superhero, and this is the Mario movie. So it's a good idea that they did that. I think you make a great point because I didn't catch that at the first time.
And yeah, they meet Princess Peach, and if we're going to talk about changing characters, like I feel like Princess Peach is probably the character that I feel has changed most from her video game counterpart. Would you agree with that?
I think, well, a little bit. I think what mostly like my perception of Princess Peach is like at the first earlier games she was a damsel in distress, which is fine, but well, Odyssey happened and then she didn't take like a more active role, but in the end game or like after like extra like when you could get more moons and stuff, she went to travel the world. She made like a little bit like, yeah, I kind of want to see other things.
Yeah, but in this movie she's kind of like this tough hero type girl, which I never felt like the Mario games ever portrayed her as.
Maybe not to this degree. But do you like this change?
I don't know, because there's a big argument against these characters of they are not really that
deep.
Yeah, deep, and they're not really showing any personality. They're kind of just strong female role models without any real personality into them. They don't have flaws, and they don't have yeah.
I mean, you could say I kind of agree. Well, all of the characters in this movie are flat. They're not that deep. And I just think that I don't think the movie would be as good if they made Peach as meek as she is in the video games. And let me explain why.
I don't really feel like she's that weak anymore in the video games either, but I just kind of...
No, I didn't say weak. I said meek, like reserved or passive. And let me explain. Because Peach is the kind of the person who suggested the idea of getting the army from the Kong country, right?
Yeah.
And sure, her advisors could have done the same, but like Mario doesn't know about this world. Peach kind of works as the best representative to be like a diplomat to the to the Kongs, and her being so active makes like it puts her more on screen, because if she were more passive, chances are she would just stay in the castle and we'd have just like switch scenes to the castle when she's worried and worried and worried.
Yeah, I guess so in some way. Like, I guess they had to introduce Peach in some way and spent time with her. But I well, I don't know. My point wasn't if it was a bad or good change. It was just that I noticed that of all the Mario character, Peach is probably the one that I feel is most unlike her video game counterpart.
Yeah, and I can agree with that.
I'm not exactly sure if I feel like it's a good or bad change. It's kind of just a change.
It's there. Like I mean, like yeah, like it's there. We see it's a little bit different, but
I guess it is a good change. Like it shows her as a capable fighter.
Yeah, like
and she is technically the queen of this kingdom, and then you have to have some kind of leadership abilities.
yeah, and as I said, I kind of liked that she was as active, because if she were to be kidnapped and Mario and Luigi were to be together, what would stop them from just going back home? Like this isn't their fight. And so Luigi is kidnapped, and if as I mentioned,
in this movie it's Luigi that's kidnapped.
Yeah, and I think it's fine. It's cool actually, because it made this whole wonderful storm of Luigi and Bowser fanfiction.
Actually, before Luigi is even taken to Bowser, one little reference that I remember is that they had this flashback of when the two were babies, and I just kind of felt like this was totally just to show off Baby and Luigi Mario in this film. Like that flashback didn't need to be there.
Exactly. Or at like I mean I appreciate it. Like as with all the references back to like other Mario games, I loved it. But yeah, it was definitely too like sure it kind of made the relationship between them a little bit more deep. How Mario always stands up for Luigi, but yeah, it was as you said.
Yeah, that was a scene that probably could have been cut out, and I don't really feel like anything would have changed. But I guess it was cute to see them at least.
Yeah, it was. But with the story, Mario meets Peach, and seeing that he is the only other human in the country, she takes an instant liking to him. Because she's interested in that. Like, why are you doing here?
He's the only other human in this world.
Exactly. And she thinks that he is fit to be a warrior, takes him to a training course that she kills, he doesn't kill.
He eats a lot of mushrooms.
Yeah, like he he eats a lot of mushrooms, and we get the power-ups.
It looked a little bit weird first when he ate the mushroom, and he suddenly were as tall, or maybe a little bit taller than Peach all of a sudden.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be that significant of a size difference.
Like Mario has a really big head when you think about it.
Well, yeah, but I think it's not as noticeable. I think they made a great job like keeping everyone to the same proportions. Because if it were just regular people from Odyssey, it'd be weird. It is weird. So Mario is struggling with his physical activity course, In the meantime, Luigi has already been delivered to the Koopa Kingdom, to the Koopa King himself, by the Shy Guys, and he is being interrogated by Bowser.
It was a bit of a time difference since I think it was like a half an hour time difference from when you first meet Bowser to his next scene. Can I just say that in this whole film, Bowser is easily my favorite character. And Jack Black portraying Bowser is truly great.
Yeah, like he feels like a villain, but like a fun villain.
Yeah, it's a it's a villain with humor, you can say.
Hmm.
And it's also a villain in love.
Or as you said, a simp.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Like they never met.
Like in this film, it's established that Bowser and Peach, like they have fought and things like that in the past, and they don't really, and Peach don't really like Bowser, and now that Bowser finally has gotten this power stars, which makes him really powerful,
Yeah.
is going to create the best wedding ever.
Exactly, because girls, they don't care about your awful personality or many, many flaws or you being a psychopath if you have power.
Yeah, and now Bowser has it. Now he has the star.
But as I said, the Luigi explosion that happened online, I've seen many, the things I've seen Bowser do to Luigi after this.
The things those eyes have seen.
Yeah, exactly. And the things that I've seen, because like I am not ashamed to this. I've been a Luigi stan since we were still in school.
You have?
Yes, because quick side, like a side story. There was a Luigi Zine going online, and there were just these cute stories about them having like a domestic life together, and it was very popular. And I was like, also, I think I have a physical copy somewhere in my house, of of them just being together.
So you ship Bowser and Luigi?
I do. I mean, maybe not after this movie. Like, I think Bowser would have to work on a lot of issues.
What do you feel about Luigi and Daisy?
Who? I don't see any Daisy in this movie.
No, I guess that's true. But anyway, you in the previous or in the past you have referred to Bowser by a certain name of your husband. So how does it feel that your husband wants to marry another princess?
Look, every person has flaws. This man has a lot. I don't know if I can fix him, but it's gonna be fun to see if I can.
Okay.
Alternatively, I can make him worse.
Yeah. Like Bowser is so fun in this film. Like he's a character that really tries and enjoys being evil, but at the same time he has these scenes of where he is just completely
goofy,
love struck, you can say, and he the one of my favorite scene in this whole film is probably when one of the Koopas tells Bowser that hey, there's this human plumber with red clothes, and was Peach super impressed? Yes, it seems so, Bowser. Then kill him!
Or when he interrogates Luigi, so you don't know anyone else that wears these specific clothes and have a mustache, huh? Yeah, my Mario, my brother. So answer me this. Do princesses find him attractive? Yes, if they have good taste. Rip.
Seriously, Bowser is the best character in this film. Like, he feels like the one with most personality also into him.
Yeah, like Jack Black's really hams it up. Like, I mean, it's also Thanksgiving because he has been voicing uh, many characters. He's been in Kung Fu Panda. He's been in Brutal Legend. Um, he's also an actor.
Hmm. Like, there was also one scene with Bowser that I did not expect that this movie would have. There's suddenly comes out of pretty much nowhere a musical segment where Bowser is playing piano and singing about Peach. And it's a song that you don't think will get stuck in your head because it's so simple, but afterwards I realized this song is stuck in my head and I don't know why.
I think uh, for me it wasn't stuck in my head, but I do think about it sometimes.
Like it's so simple lyrically, and but it's just so catchy for some weird reason.
Yeah, but going back, Jack Black is also a singer. He has a musical band. Uh, he sang also in Psychonauts. In
Mm.
Psychonauts.
Yeah, I guess if you have Jack Black, it's a tradition to have him sing at some part of the film.
I don't think it's a tradition, but he has the chops.
Like every scene that Bowser is in like that was the best part of this movie.
Yeah, I agree. Um, okay, there is
Like he
actually
made the
something.
movie for me.
There is something I want to say, but maybe I'll keep it to the end of our discussion.
Yeah, I guess we have to get back to Mario.
Or more like the Kong Country.
Well, one thing that we haven't probably specifically said is that Toad, Peach, and Mario have this little journey where they go to the Kong kingdom, and in that little segment we are introduced to, like, you can see Yoshi's in the background at one point.
Yeah, it's just
Uh,
like a montage style adventure vlog.
yeah, that's the only moment I think you actually see Yoshi in this film, which is a little bit of a surprising thing with just how the fact that how popular and fan favorite character Yoshi is. But I guess they also kind of have to save some characters for sequels.
Yeah, I mean with the end, like with the after credits scene, there is a possibility. We'll see. We'll see what else they'll adapt. There are many enemies in the Mario movies,
We
games.
never we never mentioned in the beginning of this episode a spoiler warning, did we?
I think the listeners are aware. If they click the Mario movie, this is gonna be spoiler territory.
Yeah, I guess so. Um,
But Kong Country, after the little romp and
Yeah,
discovering fire
actually,
flowers.
just one quick thing before Kong Country. We were also introduced to the fire flower, and the design of the fire flower I just found really fun, and it was just a really good design. And we're introduced to the fire flower's um, abilities. Like even thought that power up is one of Mario's be most well known. I don't think Mario actually uses the fire flower in this whole film. I think it's other characters.
Peach, Donkey Kong, and yeah, I think I don't think he uses it once, or maybe during like the final montage fight, he maybe uses it for a second.
I don't think he actually does. Okay, and no, now you can talk about the Kong Country, Carol.
Yes, so we are approaching like halfway point, 2/3 of the movie. And we are introduced to the Kong Country, which is the destination where the Kong army resides. This whole place is built like like Go Bananas racetrack, Hawaiian meets jungle resort kind of city,
Like
and
uh, of all the places that they will introduce Mario Kart elements, I did not expect it to be Donkey Kong.
but I think they incorporated it well enough where it kind of gave this because they could easily make just like a tree like big village in trees.
Like, I guess if you're looking at the script and you really wanted a Mario Kart references in this movie, I guess the Donkey Kong Country was the really the only place for that reference to be.
Yeah, because in like I don't know how they are explained in. I don't think the card games are even like explained in universe. They just happen. They just like invite everyone to go karting, right?
Yeah, there's no story behind Mario Kart and the sports game. They just happens.
Yeah,
They just happen.
so I think you are right with them being like Mario Kart is like one of the biggest spin-offs of the series.
It sells better than any other Mario game.
Yeah, so I think yeah, they just had to like include it in the story in not intrusive way.
Yeah. The weird thing about Mario Kart is that, weirdly enough, even though this is a film which I guess kind of is a celebration and of Mario, like the Mario Kart segments to me felt a bit like a weird commercial in this movie in some way.
It doesn't help that they are still like not selling, but not all of the booster courses for Mario Kart 8 are even out now.
I guess so. I guess it as a celebration of Mario, you. I guess it's okay to include Mario Kart in there, but there's just something weird about it anyway, which kind of just makes it a bit of commercial feeling to it.
I think this is the only part when where I got this feeling.
Yeah, for me too.
Like I like the idea, but it's like I like it because it gives this whole country just like its own vibe. Same with Mushroom Kingdom, but it's very clearly the feeling of hey Mario Kart, we have to cram it in somewhere. But the movie doesn't let us really stop and think about it because we have the fight between Donkey Kong and Mario coming up.
Yeah, Mario and Donkey Kong fight in this film like it's some kind of way for Cranky Kong to say yes in participating of the fight against the Koopa army. If Mario can beat his son Donkey Kong, which is apparently his son in this movie.
Yeah, rewrites. Dab, dab.
Yeah. Well, one little reference that I hoped for that we would get and we actually got was the Diddy Kong is included in a small role of being in the audience, I guess.
Yeah, but he's included. Also, because I don't think we talked about the movie. Like this whole fight is referencing like the first Mario game, since it's just him versus Donkey Kong on steel beams.
Yeah, it is a reference to it,
and it's great. Yeah, Mario is like pounded into pulp.
Yeah, Donkey Kong is introduced, and if we're going to talk a little bit about Donkey Kong, he's kind of a jokey character that tries to get the approval of his dad, and it kind of felt like they made almost felt like they made Donkey Kong have a big enough personality that maybe he would get a spin-off film in the future or something like that.
I'd see it. Like after the Mario movie, I'd see it.
Like it could absolutely happen, I feel like.
Yeah, plus it gives more opportunity to include Mario Kart. Available now for purchase with the booster pass.
Yeah, so Mario and Donkey Kong fight, and Mario seems like he has no chance against Donkey Kong.
Yeah, he's just being thrown about.
Yeah, but I guess, Cranky Kong made some power-ups be in the field. So Mario first get the mini mushroom, which doesn't help him at all. And next he gets the cat power-up.
You know, Mario 3D World is my favorite Mario game.
Is it?
Yeah. So it kind of like just like with the like clear pipes in the Mushroom Kingdom. I kind of like that they include his cat uniform here as well.
Well, it is I guess it is a popular power up to be included. Like for some reason you're kind of just expecting them to include I guess the classic elements of Mario, but yeah, here's a kind of a newer power up.
And then Mario almost kills Donkey Kong.
Yeah, now when he has the abilities of a cat, he can really slice that monkey.
Yeah, like it's for Mario. It's a game of cat and mouse, and he is winning.
There is one little fun reference scene with Donkey Kong where he, for some reason, he gets a barrel out and he throws it at Mario. But yeah, Mario managed to beat Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and with that, the Donkey Country agrees to Princess Peach's demands. They outfit them with sweet rides, a bicycle for Peach, a cart for Mario, a goddamn jeep for Toad, and they set off on a road made of rainbow, wink wink, to where? I don't know where they were going.
And there's a lot of reference to Mario Kart, like the gliding ability, the anti-gravity, the part where Mario runs out of the rainbow and lands on our other rainbow path which is below. Yeah, a lot of Koopas starts to attack as well, and there's a character that there's a Koopa that has a blue shell.
Wow, guess
Wonder
who's
what
that
is about.
I think opinion of him online is that he is the biggest hater alive. Well, not alive anymore, but this man was just a professional hater.
Well, the blue shell has never been a character before. Like he was an item in the Mario Kart game, but now they kind of took that item and made him into a Koopa Troopa that has a blue shell and wings.
Yeah, he was like Bowser's commander, right?
Well, if you're being honest, like in his mission to stop Mario, he actually succeeded in that, because he does actually stop Mario and Donkey Kong, and they get separated from the crew.
Yeah, they have a full-on Titanic moment as they're going to the water and like holding on for dear life on debris. They get swallowed up by a big eel, like chomp. I also really like the eel. They're cute.
Okay. I did not know that side about you, Karol.
Yeah, like I don't know. I wish I'm not gonna say I wish I had an eel. I can't have an eel because I can't take care of it. But they're cute.
Do you really want an eel?
They're cute. Some of them are like almost like yellow, like banana colored.
I never really thought of eels as cute, but okay.
They're so goofy. Like they just like head empty, no thoughts. Perpetually.
All of the Kong's army also gets captured. So it's just Peach and Toad that comes back to the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, and they prepare for a final fight. As well, not final fight. The Bowser. Bowser is already on their tail. So they just kind of square up in the foyer of the castle.
Well, Peach also kind of evacuates every character from the castle, so it's kind of just Peach that defends the Mushroom Kingdom with one Toad, I guess.
Yeah, just this one Toad.
Yeah. And Bowser arrives with his whole Koopa Troopa army.
and literally says, "Yo, hey, I really like you, and I have this superstar, so I think we'd be great together." Cue flowers.
Kind of like, marry me. I don't want to marry you. Well,
marry me or I'll kill this guy.
Sucks for you then.
Like, it's... I mean, yeah, he's psychotic, so it makes sense. Like, it's just weird. And to prove his love, he plans to sacrifice every single prisoner to a lava lake as they're about to get married.
Mm. Well, there has been some hints in Mario games that the reason why Bowser kidnaps Peach is because he wants to marry her, or he has some kind of crush on her, but I'm not sure if it has ever been quite as explicit as this movie.
Yeah, and then also it kind of mellowed out with like the newer games, at least I feel.
Not Mario Odyssey, like they're in
Oh
that
yeah,
game.
duh.
It's
Okay, my fault, my fault. Like they literally have whatchamacallit, wedding amiibos.
Bowser was planning a big wedding.
It's funny because a lot of people just like pose, yeah, here's Bowser and here's Mario, they're getting married. Awful ship. I do not support.
Yeah, you support the Luigi instead.
Exactly. Like Green Mario.
Well,
as the gang, or I mean by this Peach, is being brought to the Koopa King castle, we switch back to Donkey Kong and Mario being stuck inside the eel. It's a Moby Dick situation, or Pinocchio.
yeah, well, they start to argue with each other because Mario and Donkey Kong are not really exactly on friendly terms in this film. And Mario makes Donkey Kong, I guess, angry, so he starts to hit the ground, and I guess that makes them escape from the eel, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think they exploded one of the cars and they fly out on one of the engines.
Oh, right, it's one of Donkey Kong's, what are they
Barrels.
called? Rocket barrel.
Yeah. And they fly out away and away to Mushroom Kingdom to stop the ceremony. And I feel like if Bowser chilled out, haha, a little bit with the sacrifice at the wedding, I don't know, like maybe promise to let them go. I think it'd be a lot more presentable offer than murder.
Hmm. But Bowser is fully planning on this wedding, and he's ready to get married.
And kill.
And Peach is approaching him, but I guess there is this little scene that became a meme, if I remember correctly.
I even showed you one of the memes.
Yeah, Peach is kind of like, did you really expect me to marry you?
Like, yeah,
Well, yeah, kind of.
Like,
I thought we would be happy together.
stares at the camera. Really?
Princess Peach brings out an ice flower, and she's starting to. I guess she melted Bowser. I guess.
No, not melted. Froze.
What did you say?
Froze.
Froze.
Yeah, like froze because you said melted. Like if like she used a fire to melt ice, but she encased him in ice.
I thought you said true.
No. Kind of wish, but no. So she asks politely Bowser.
He froze.
No, froze like Frozen the movie.
Yeah, I know froze. Like I understand it now, Karol.
Love it, but in case of this, love is not an open door, and she asks Bowser to chill out.
You gotta let it go, Bowser.
You gotta let it go.
Just like Frozen.
I gotta find my own way. Anyway, so she just like starts blasting all the reception guests, left, right, and center. Badass babe moment, way to go. And as the like cages are being lowered into the lava with Luigi being like almost at the bottom, she freezes a chain and then it rises back up when Mario and Donkey Kong come back. The chains are being pulled. Bowser escapes and tries to nuke the Mushroom Kingdom.
Oh yeah, he gets the yellows of Mario and Peach, and he's like, Bonsai Bill.
Yeah, and a literal nuke is heading for the kingdom.
Yeah, Mario at this point of time has gotten ahead of the Tanuki power up, so he distracts the Bonsai Bill.
And also saves Luigi.
Yeah, and the best idea he gets to get rid of this Bonsai Bill is take him into the...
Send him to New York.
Yeah, that sounds horrible when you think about it. Let's take this Bonsai Bill into this pipe, which I know will lead it to New York City.
Yeah, my beloved friends and family.
But, well, it doesn't really go to New York. Instead, it explodes in the, I guess, portal hub.
Yeah, everything just explodes on the inside, and everyone is just starting to like get sucked into the warp pipe, and eventually end up in New York City.
Yeah, we're back in New York.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah, that's relevant.
I did not expect that we would return.
Not me neither. I thought that the end of the movie would just them being in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they return to New York, and I guess this time the actual fight between Mario and Bowser begins.
Yeah,
and Bowser is kicking Mario's ass.
Yeah, seems like a trend, but I think it's obviously kids movie. Like they can't make the hero win against Bowser, and also like it was pretty hard in the earlier games.
One thing that I thought about actually is that in Mario games, Mario is kind of useful in his normal form, but every time in this movie he has needed a power up to kind of save the day.
I mean, it wasn't until he started to believe in himself, because all the other past times he didn't have the strength in himself to be a hero.
Well, even in this ending part, he uses a power up.
Yeah, I'm just pulling out of my ass, but I think he has like a crisis of faith when he lays in like an Italian sub restaurant, right?
And his own commercial is playing.
Yeah, because he's the Super Mario Brothers.
We're going to save Brooklyn or something.
New York City, right? Which was it? Was it?
I think it was Brooklyn this time.
I'm spiraling out of control. What city was it in?
Brooklyn is part of New York.
Okay, sorry. My geography is...
Brooklyn is not a city, Karol.
Brooklyn is my city. I am so sorry, listeners. I never been to the US.
I guess you can say that what happens next is that Mario and Luigi gets at the last second before Bowser breathes fire on them, they get the Power Star.
Yeah.
Which for some reason I was a bit surprised, because in my head I was like, oh, that's kind of like a star from the Super Mario Galaxy games.
It was a power up.
For some reason that didn't click to my head. Oh, that's the power up star. Like I was like, oh, that's like a star from like Mario 64 or Super Mario Galaxy.
I mean,
but no, yeah. It's the power up star.
It could also be explained that it's both at the same time.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, Mario lore. This is just speculation. Don't at me. There's also this sweet moment between like Luigi saving Mario for the first time, when Bowser is just firing his laser left and right, and they just tear through Bowser's army like they're like it's butter. And at the end of the day, they beat him senseless, put him in a jar, and save the day.
Yeah, Mario and Luigi became kind of overpowered after that star.
Yeah. But well, that's how it works in the game, invincibility. and their family and friends and Spike to congratulate them, and the movie
Yeah,
ends.
they can finally approve of them, I guess.
They're not fuck ups anymore.
It just took them to beat a fire-breathing turtle.
I mean, if we did that, hypothetically, wouldn't we also be cool?
It would have probably brought a lot of attention, right?
Yeah, I feel like it'd be on the news.
Yeah, these two brothers just beat this fire-breathing turtle who has a good singing voice and is really into peaches.
There is also an ape on site, and he was also fighting.
And he can talk.
And he can
talk. And wears a tie.
And that's the end of the movie. I don't think do they move to the Mushroom Kingdom? I don't think they do, right?
Well, they did kind of, like in the end credits where the like music plays. Like I think it's established that Mario and Luigi has a house, if I remember.
Yeah, but it also could just mean that they have two houses.
Yeah, it could.
But
like I'm not exactly sure if they move to the Mushroom Kingdom, but I don't know. I think they will.
Yeah,
probably.
Now that you say it, because like, what do they have in New York? Sure, family, but they can visit, and in the Mushroom Kingdom, they're heroes.
Yeah, they are needed in the Mushroom Kingdom. Who's going to fix the pipes there?
After they nuked the entire pipe system.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, one thing that I start to think about is that Peach in this movie. Do you remember that she also kind of had a backstory where you saw her baby form?
Yeah. Apparently, she also ended up through a pipe in the Mushroom Kingdom, and she was then raised by the Toads.
Yeah, and the Toads made her their princess.
I mean, she did prove to be like one of the most capable warriors and leaders as time went on.
Yeah.
Also, I think because touching on like this movie fleshes out a little bit of Peach, because I don't think there was a lot of explanation for how she ended up in the Mushroom Kingdom now. Because
well, I guess this movie fleshes out on a lot of things, because Nintendo has not really been that much of a fan of confirming things.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best. Like, when you confirm something, you are now beholden to it. You have to do it. But I think, going back to VHS tapes, I know it was a long time ago since we spoke about it. I think she had like a father, right?
I don't remember. Like, something that you kind of have to remember is that when those cartoons were made, there was like there was very limited lore. So a lot of things the cartoons kind of just made up.
Yeah, as they went. And also, I don't like, it's VHS tapes. I don't think they're that relevant to the Mario canon now.
Well, technically the theme song was in this film, so...
True. Actually true. But I feel like we've spoken a little bit about the after credit scene with the Yoshi egg.
I guess a little bit.
But that's what happens after the credits. We see a Yoshi egg come through the pipe. And it's kind of hinted at that there will be another movie. How do you feel about this?
Well, after seeing the box office number, there will surely be another movie.
Yeah, I think it's one of the like biggest movies at the moment.
I think everyone was expecting that the Super Mario Brothers movie would probably be a success, but I think it has even succeeded what people were expecting of it.
Yeah, I think the movie on itself, just not being bad, is good enough. Like, it's watchable.
Well, I guess that depends on who you ask, because like if you go into Rotten Tomatoes, there's a side of two different tales, you can say. You can see the critical score and the audience score.
I did not check the Rotten Tomatoes. What? So which is which? Do the does the audience dislike the movie, or is it the critics?
The critics kind of dislike this movie, and audience seems to love it. Like I think the audience didn't have that big of expectation. Like I think that they just that the movie is somewhat good, and it is a fun Mario adventure was enough for people to like it.
Yeah.
Critics, I guess critics weren't the people that were waiting for a Mario movie.
I think
Like for them, it's kind of like uh, uh, I have to go and see this thing, but for audience, it's kind of like I can't wait to see the Mario movie.
I think the critics also have to like critically engage with this and like think about the plot and well how the plot just keeps moving and how we don't really stay for place, how there are no quiet moments.
Well, let's say you knew nothing about the Mario universe. In that case, this movie is really weird. Like, if say just say this out loud. Two Italian brothers from Brooklyn that are plumbers find this green big pipe, travels to it, comes to a different land full of mushrooms, which has a princess, and that is the only other human. At the same time, there's a fire-breathing turtle who is a big threat and has some kind of power stars.
Yeah,
And
it's
that
a weird
doesn't even
premise.
explain half of it.
Also, yeah, there are gorillas who ride carts and bikes and trucks.
Actually, now I understand it less. Why didn't the critics like this? Like, just hear what we're saying. This sounds incredible.
I mean, it does sound incredible, but it's not like. I think for this movie, what I'm getting at is it just had to be not bad. It had to be like, it's a good movie. It's not the best movie. It could be more fun if it. Well,
Actually, if I'm being honest, like one thing that I thought when we were going to end this movie, I thought that I would be like, oh, that was so fun. Let's speak about all the references and things that happened in this movie. But when I was actually done with this film, because we saw it together, I was like, okay.
yeah, I had the same feeling.
Like, it didn't really blow my mind or anything, which is kind of weird because we have spoken about this film for more than 1 hour.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, and it was like pleasant. Like, I'm glad I saw it. Like, and I'm glad it exists, but it's not like it didn't really it didn't spoke to me anything.
Yeah. I guess what you can conclude is that this is a good introduction to the Mario universe.
Yeah, I think so too. And also, I just wanted to say, like, going back to this being the Mario movie, like, I wanted to ask, like, I asked my brother and his daughter to go see this movie with me, which I don't usually do, and this being on account of this being the Mario movie because it's something I could bond over with my brother. So yeah, it's not a bad movie, but it's also the Mario movie, so that's why it's profitable.
Yeah, Mario is really a big... Like, Mario is the biggest video game franchise. Like, I don't even really feel like that is a discussion.
Yeah, I mean, besides maybe like Pokemon, but yeah, like he is a like Nintendo Land. Hello.
Hello?
No, not Nintendo Land. What's the place called in the Universal Studios?
I think it's called Nintendo Land.
Ah, because I God damn
or
it.
Nintendo World.
Yeah, Nintendo World, because Nintendo Land was the game on the Wii U.
Well, they could probably have called it Mario World because it's just Mario themed. Well, anyway, if I was going to say something ending of this film is that I don't know, it was surprisingly fun to talk about. I can give it that at least. But the film itself felt like a kind of okay film. It was somewhat fun. I wouldn't say it was bad. I would say that the pace was maybe a little bit too fast at certain points, but it's still an enjoyable Mario adventure.
I'd give it a 6 out of 10, but it's not, for me that's not a bad score. It's not like super phenomenal.
I could probably also give it a 6 out of 10.
And I think with that, if you, I don't know, if you agree with us, you can always leave a comment. I think at least Spotify has no comments you can add. So there they are.
Well, okay. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Media Bubble podcast. Hit that subscribe button of passion. And big thanks to Jahzzar for our song, or intro and outro song, Comedie. Have a wonderful day and see you soon.
See you
Goodbye.
soon. Bye-bye.